Kowalski is one of the most vibrant and memorable figures in the entire Madagascar franchise. Within the Penguin squad, he officially holds the position of second in command and serves as Skipper's right hand, or more accurately, his right flipper. Deciding that is up to you. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Among the four, Kowalski stands out mentally. He is objectively taller than the rest of the penguins and possesses the highest level of intelligence. His primary duty in the group is formulating tactical plans, calculating risk, and keeping constant notes in his notepad for Skipper. The surname Kowalski is one of the most recognizable Polish names, originating from the word Kował, meaning smith. In American culture, it has long served as an archetype for the simple, honest, hard-working guy. In the movie, this name was used to depict a dependable fellow who is always right next to the leader, takes on the hardest work, and asks for no recognition in return. And if you look at the entire squad, everything fits into a single cohesive picture. Skipper commands the operation. Rico carries literally everything inside him, from dynamite to a screwdriver. Private is responsible for sincerity, kindness, and eternal optimism, and Kowalski is the brain of the team, the analyst, inventor, strategist, and chief specialist who plans the situation several moves ahead. That is precisely why Skipper's famous line, "Kowalski analysis," sounds so natural. He is addressing the one who will always find a solution. Kowalski often describes himself as a slightly mad scientist. However, considering the scale of problems, chaos, and destruction regularly caused by his scientific and technical breakthroughs, the other penguins unanimously agree that such a self-description is putting it very mildly. In the very first Madagascar movie, Kowalski plays a relatively minor role. At the beginning of the picture, we can see him in the Central Park Zoo, where the penguins lead a comfortable yet boring life while planning an escape. Later, together with the rest of the crew, he ends up at Grand Central Station, where the whole crew gets hit with tranquilizers. No matter how smart Kowalski might have seemed, at the time of the first installment, he didn't even know how to read English, which forced him to turn to Phil the chimpanzee. Over time, the show's writers corrected this absurdity. In later episodes, Kowalski already demonstrates basic reading skills, deciphers road signs, and actively uses a computer keyboard. Realizing that the ship is heading to Africa, the penguins take control of the wheel to redirect it to Antarctica. In the film's finale, when Antarctica turns out to be way too harsh, Kowalski and his comrades return to the beach of Madagascar. In the first two movies, he mostly pretends to be smart, as the writers didn't fully understand what to do with his character just yet. However, by Madagascar 3, Kowalski's character undergoes massive changes, aligning closely with his spin-off version while his inventive talent reaches a whole new level. First, he creates a literal warp drive for a superplane, though it later turns out to be just Alex the Lion's dream. Later on, Kowalski builds a reactor that helps them escape from their pursuers. Naturally, Skipper calls it a nuclear reactor, and when Gloria tries to correct his pronunciation to nuclear, Skipper confidently doubles down on his own version. As Kowalski himself mentioned, his work wasn't entirely finished. There were still issues with the uranium and all that, but even before he could finish his sentence, the vehicle blasted off at full speed. This allowed them to temporarily knock the bad guys off their feet and buy enough time to get away. Each of us has wanted to loudly say Kowalski analysis at least once in our life and get an instant, overly detailed, super smart breakdown of any situation. And thanks to advanced AI, now you can do that right on your phone. I recently stumbled upon an AI platform called Polybuzz, which already has over 40 million downloads worldwide and a massive library of more than 20 million chatbots. It's the perfect place to let your creativity run wild, whether you want to chat with pre-made characters from movies, games, and anime, or create your very own from scratch. Naturally, the first thing I did was build a Kowalski bot.
Oh, that. Theories vary. Some suggest it's a biological anomaly, others think it's psychological. I personally lean towards the theory of selective digestive adaptation to environment changes.
I gave him his nerdy personality, his obsession with analytics, and his habit of going on massive rants. And honestly, the AI hit the nail on the head.
In theory, yes. But he's not exactly adapted to normal conditions. He'd probably panic and try to lead a military operation against traffic lights.
He talks exactly like Skipper's right wingman, using tons of scientific jargon, coming up with wild theories, and giving surprisingly deep responses. You can try requesting an analysis from Kowalski yourself or create your own ideal chat partner. Click the link in the description or pinned comment, download Polybuzz, and type my unique promo code Quasar11, that's a QUASAR11, right into the search bar on the app's homepage to activate 3 days of premium completely for free. The link is waiting for you down below, and definitely let me know in the comments if Kowalski was able to solve your problem. Thanks to the Polybuzz team for sponsoring. At the same time, Kowalski is incredibly narcissistic. His narcissism shows both in his unwavering confidence in his intellectual abilities and in his high opinion of his own physical appearance. This boastfulness is so pronounced that he regularly takes unwarranted risks testing dangerous inventions on himself. Skipper even had to institute a swag jar. Every time Kowalski unnecessarily shows off his encyclopedic knowledge, he has to drop a quarter in. Kowalski's main drawback is his tendency to overanalyze. Excessive overthinking often prevents him from acting in time during critical situations. When science completely consumes his mind, he loses touch with reality. A prime example is the incident with a creature named Jiggles. When Kowalski created this gelatinous substance and the other penguins began expressing justified alarm, he flew into a rage and accused his friends of being haters of science. He couldn't accept that his creation was a dangerous anomaly until Jiggles literally tried to consume him. As a true representative of academic science, Kowalski categorically refuses to believe in anything unproven. He publicly mocks King Julian's belief in sky spirits and denies the existence of magic. Nevertheless, fate constantly pits him against the supernatural, and he tries to find a strict scientific explanation for it until the very last moment. Kowalski is a classic geek and an old school nerd. He genuinely tries to appear modern and cool, incorporating popular youth slang and internet memes into his speech. However, due to his innate academic nature, all these attempts sound incredibly forced, unnatural, and end up making people smile. He loves using long, high specialized terms, which is why the other penguins regularly fail to understand him and ask him to repeat his thoughts in plain English. Despite his status as the smartest penguin, Kowalski is severely lacking in the physical department compared to his comrades. He has the lowest stamina in the squad and tires quickly, yet he firmly believes that intellect always trumps brute force, which regularly leads to arguments with Rico, who embodies pure destructive power. Kowalski himself openly admits that he struggles tremendously with expressing genuine emotions. Nevertheless, he is capable of deep feelings. In one episode, he gets genuinely terrified and worried for Rico's life when Rico is threatened with an explosion. Furthermore, Kowalski is the unluckiest penguin in the entire crew. Most of his failures and injuries are caused by his own arrogance. His inventions constantly explode right in his hands, but that never stops him from continuing his experiments. Throughout his various adventures, Kowalski has repeatedly changed his appearance, mental state, and biological form under the influence of his own inventions. In the episode The Big Move, he gets hit by a shrink ray, causing his body to continuously morph. He manages to be a micro penguin, a giant, super fat, super skinny, and even covered in polka dots. Yet all these changes affected only his outer shell without impacting his intelligence. On the other hand, the episode Brain Drain clearly demonstrates what happens when Kowalski tries to artificially hack the limits of his own mind. Wanting to become even smarter, he subjects himself to a brain supercharging procedure. In his super mega genius form, his head physically inflates to a massive size. Kowalski loses all modesty, claiming he can easily cure the common cold or instantly calculate pi to the millionth digit. In this state, he makes flawless calculations and creates perfectly working devices, but the triumph is short-lived. The effect fades rapidly. As soon as the device wears off, a harsh side effect kicks in. Kowalski's head shrinks so severely that his white feathers slide up to the top of his head, creating a comical balding effect, while he mentally drops below the level of King Julian and Mort. Yet even in this state, he rushes to help the team and experiences pure childish delight. His former mind returns to him only after his exhausted brain receives nourishment in the form of a natural fish diet. Listing all of Kowalski's crazy experiments, mutations, and scientific failures could go on forever. There's enough material here for hours of detailed breakdown, but I think this is more than enough to understand in detail who this brilliant yet slightly mad penguin truly is, what makes him unique, and why Skipper's squad would have hardly survived this long without his analytical mind. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and saw the character from a new perspective. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you enjoy the format, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. And if you still thought there were only 4 penguins in the squad and had no idea that a 5th and 6th member exist, hurry up and click on the video on your screen right now and enjoy watching.